Good evening. This is the August 21st, 2025 meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. The time is 6 o'clock. Our first order of business is to review the cases for this evening. We will convene back into general session at 6:30.
That's right.
It's only like
I
half.
think I renewed last year. Yeah.
Did they hire somebody?
I thought they'd offered.
Ashley's joined.
She's in Salina.
They're going to run out of water.
So I came in as a fill-in, right?
Yeah,
So the tenure that I'm in, that doesn't restart, that stays on the same clock, right?
on the same clock. So I think Sue, Eddie, are you on there too? Did you get an email?
Yeah, because he's in the picture
We're
with
in the
us.
same picture.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Kent.
Ken and I are on the same one.
Are you on the
Yeah.
same?
But I don't know
guys
about
did it
Glenn,
last
because
year.
he filled Glenn's spot, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
You're better than fill-in.
Then Glenn was on our cycle.
You sent him an email.
Yes, it was
I
Glenn,
sent it
Sue,
to you.
myself, and
Yeah.
Ed.
Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does he
Okay.
re-up as well?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because I didn't get anything other than your introductory email.
Yeah, I don't think they've sent it yet.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe, John, you. All right.
Maybe they're not
Something
invited.
there.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's John.
okay, so it's 6:02. We'll start with a roll call this evening. Edmund Haas, Chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Commission members, Sue Blankenship,
Present.
Ed Marr,
Present.
John Dobmeyer,
Present.
Cindy Bishop,
Here.
and Kent Haffman.
Kent Haferman.
Haffman, golly.
Just think of hay farmer.
Hay farmer?
Hay farmer, that's the German.
Haffman.
Now we're gonna call you Hayfarm.
All right, okay, so, before I turn it over to Mary, if you'll introduce staff, and then, we'll review the cases.
Sure. Myself, Mary from Boswell, planner. Matt Steer, Development Services Administrator. Cole Baker, Graduate Engineer. Mr. Bob Hager, City Attorney. And Ms. Cammie McGee, our Board Secretary. So the first item on your agenda is property located at 1090 East Sandy Lake Road. Essentially, it's a one building with two suites. On one side, there's a Marco's Pizza. On the other side, it's currently vacant, it's about 2,500 square feet. It's got a drive-through lane, and Goodwill is looking to occupy that space. I guess they're going around to various cities in the Metroplex and opening up, they're just drop-off locations. So you just come in, you drop off your stuff, they store it inside, they sort it, and then they ship it out to their processing plant, I guess, and do more sorting, and then sort it, send it out to their retail stores. So there's no retail component to this, it's just totally a drop-off.
What kind of land use does this fall under, this proposal?
So, according to our ordinance, you can only have 20% of warehousing in this type of zoning district. And so we've already mentioned or told them numerous times that really this falls more into a light industrial type zoning.
Okay.
But they wanted to move forward and see if they could get PD condition to switch from 20% to essentially 100% warehousing on this portion of the building. So their hours of operation, essentially it's 7 days a week, alternates from Monday to Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m., Sunday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And they have these wheeled carts that they put all the stuff in.
And
then they
those,
have
where would those be housed?
inside the building.
I've seen so many drop-off locations look like a train wreck.
Oh, yeah, I go to CCA all the time, it's a mess.
yeah.
I mean,
So that's part of our.
appreciate
Yes,
what
and
they
they're
do.
organized.
Yeah, they're very
What's the
organized.
primary image zone?
Yes, it was.
It was or still is?
Well, I don't think we use that.
Or
Terminology.
entry?
Yeah,
But it's the entryway to MacArthur and.
it is the entryway. It
Same.
provides, it does not conform to the comp plan. It does not conform to what type of uses we would like to see in that zoning district or on the comp plan, because it's totally just a drop-off. There's no retail. This really should be more of a neighborhood services, retail, restaurant,
Yeah.
offices.
And
type
Goodwill
use.
is for profit, it's not a nonprofit. Salvation Army's nonprofit, Goodwill is for profit, right?
I
So
don't
it's
know
a bus-
exactly,
it's a
but yes,
business.
it's definitely a business. It's definitely a business.
So would this be staffed by employees or volunteers?
Employees.
Place, because it's a for profit, they have to hire them.
Hmm.
So if you drop your stuff off, you don't get tax deduction for Goodwill.
So staff recommendation is for denial of this request. We did not receive any, we sent a letter, we didn't receive anybody responding for or against.
The HOA did not respond.
Considering something else going on in the vicinity, you would think.
Yeah,
I think they
Marcos didn't have anything, any commentary?
well, it goes to the property owner, it doesn't go to the tenants.
Oh, I see.
Right, so,
Okay.
So
Right.
the landlord did not respond, or the owner of the property?
well, they have to sign the application, so they're for it, right?
Okay.
Definitely not beyond that.
So our recommendation is for denial, but if you choose to recommend approval, then we do have some conditions stated, essentially no outside storage of donations, no trailers, storage containers or the like, and then that their sign has to comply.
So I guess said differently, so the landlord didn't submit anything additional, any additional color commentary? Because it's been vacant for quite a while.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think they're just trying to get some in there.
Yeah, he's gonna have a presentation.
Oh, you will, okay, okay.
So item number 7 is Pecan Creek Shopping Center. So this property's been zoned retail for over 40 years. In 2017, they got approval to build 2 buildings, parking. It's in a regular shaped lot. Towards the back or the east of it, it kind of slopes down into a creek. There's a floodplain down there. There's a large slope easement, there's a large drainage easement, there's a lot of utility easements. So this site is, I'm gonna say, plagued with a lot of easements, so it's constrained to where they can develop. Just a little bit of history on this one. We tried to work with the property owner to the north to modify some of those easements, but we went through a lot of work to do that.
PTSD when I hear this.
And at the end of the day, they decided not to move forward with abandoning some of those easements. So this was supposed to come last month. Again, they said we want to do some work with them. That did not come to fruition.
So when you're referring to those easements, are you talking about the easement across the front that's a cross-access easement?
Yeah, there's one that runs north-south
So,
along the front.
so as long as they leave that as open space, do they have to build it?
Well, there's
Well-
a driveway between them, and you want that, that's why there's cross access, because you don't want two driveways.
Right, but there's net and tap, then there's the access easement where they're putting a 24-foot drive lane, then the building, and then the parking's in the back.
Parking, yeah.
So do they have to put that drive lane in? I mean, it's an easement, they don't have to build it, do they? Or is there something in their easement agreement that says that they have to build it when they?
Well, it's
develop?
access and the fire lane easement. So-
Understood, but if somebody wants to use it as an access easement, don't they have to build it? I was just, it was such a waste of money, and it looks
And
silly,
we were trying to work that out.
but they don't, but my question is, do they have to does the property owner have to build it if it's a cross-access easement for somebody else?
Well, it's for them and the other one. So at the end of the day, because we thought about not letting them, or letting them not build it,
Mhm.
or at least abandoning a portion of it,
Mhm.
we couldn't get everyone to agree on abandonment of of a portion of it.
Mhm. But I mean, it's still physically there as an easement, even if the improvements aren't done. Am I wrong on this?
Well, we thought about that, but it was our understanding that
But
it would have
that's
to
the way
be
it's
built.
zoning, so we don't have to worry about that.
I know, but the layout and the site plan that's been submitted just looks odd,
It's what?
odd.
Oh,
And it's
odd.
just gonna cost that property owner more money just to build that for no reason.
Can it be with like a permeable surface,
Mhm.
pervious surface?
Like
the
Grasscrete or something?
Grasscrete or something to soften it up?
By ordinance, no. Maybe if they got some, kind of exception to allow
I know,
that.
it just looked like a complete waste of money, in my opinion, but that's why I was wondering and questioning it.
We had the same concerns.
So the neighbor to the north
Uh-huh,
wouldn't acquiesce on this requirement,
correct.
but wasn't this their property originally?
At some point, it was all one property, and then I think at some point, it was subdivided into 2 lots,
Yeah.
and this has a different owner now.
Just seemed like a-
And no way that building could be pushed further back because of easements.
Right, in order to fit all their parking and everything else, they can't really push anything further back because then it really
What if they
impacts
made,
everything else.
what if they built a smaller building that would have less parking requirements?
We talked about that too, but this is the building that they want to have,
If
Okay,
they're
I was
asking for a
just curious.
variance to the side yard
not for the side yard.
or the easement over there, isn't it? Aren't they asking for a variance on the north side?
Mm-mm.
I think it's okay.
That's why I thought I saw a note on one of the plans that said that this easement is to be abandoned by this plat.
They're half, but then they're adding a
Yeah.
new easement.
On one of the notes, the
Yeah.
required 10-foot landscape buffer south of the mutual
That's a
access drive is not
landscape
for.
buffer, not a setback.
A landscape. Do you see where the turn, it turns up like this? That,
Oh, we're on this side.
yeah,
Oh, I probably.
and it goes, because the drive
South side
aisle
of the
is like, scooches into it a couple feet, but then the rest of it's made up.
Okay.
So
What is
landscape,
staff's recommendation on this?
to approve the plan, the PD.
I don't know,
Wait a minute.
it just doesn't.
I'm with you. I'm failing to understand at least the portion on the south side. What the heck? There's not even a median break.
Eddie, I get it, we tried.
No, you
Trust me.
don't.
Well, it'll be a turn-in, because you can't go south.
Right, but the property owner still has access to all his parking and all his access. And just if he didn't build the front street.
So, okay. I
It
guess
just
we'll
seems like a complete waste of money.
Well, so the question is on, so they're not intending to improve the access easement on the front, correct?
They are.
They are.
They are,
Yeah.
okay.
You know, unless we get some determination that it's not required, but at this point,
So then
The
why
intent
isn't
is
it
to
shown
build
on
it.
the plat then, in that
Yeah, because
manner?
on the plat it says this easement, this access easement to be removed by, this plat,
Yeah.
somewhere.
So it should
but
be
it's
shown
back,
as
it's
an,
back on there.
yeah, but it should be shown as an improvement. It's not shown like all the other drive
Did you look at the
aisles.
plat? Is that
There's-
note on there?
The old fire lane and access, the property was platted in like 2018,
Mhm.
and there was a fire lane and access easement that went through the property, that's what's being abandoned.
Okay, I thought the arrow pointed to the front, but I was looking at my computer screen, so who knows?
Yes, we spent hours. Hours.
I'm sorry, it just looked ridiculous.
I get it.
It didn't make sense
Yeah,
to
we
me.
understand, but it's their right to bring it.
Okay,
Your right to turn it down if you don't want it.
Yeah.
okay, it just,
I understand.
I was hoping the city did not require that to,
But there had been a prior, design approved, right? Cause I remember seeing the
Yeah.
sign come up,
It
coming
was
soon
more of-
shopping
It
center.
was more of an L shape at the front and then
So
a,
we didn't have this easement process. I can't get my crap.
Two properties.
Well, so they couldn't reach an agreement to file the easements that were necessary to make that project happen.
yeah,
right?
Right.
and we did work on it a long time.
okay. Fair enough, I'll zip it.
So they have about 20% landscaping. They are a little short, and that's why we were trying to get that southern easement dropped so they could add more landscaping, but, there was no agreement. So, the building is gonna be kind of like a mirrored image. So the front's gonna look like a front and the back's gonna look like a front because they're really gonna be accessing the buildings from the back parking lot. And so we did receive one response on that one, that was from Grow It, who was, issued some concern about drainage, but engineering's looked at the preliminary drainage and has no, concern about that, so,
It looks like some of this property is what they're using for parking today.
yep.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Where do their customers park after this?
Well, that's a good question, and they're gonna have to figure that out.
Must it be a 24-foot easement? Can it be a
Fire
12,
lane,
16?
fire lane requires 24.
That's the recorded instrument. That's how wide it is.
It's fire trucks back there, and they have fall area, it's 24 feet.
If we could make something work out, we will. At this point, this is what we have to work with.
Okay, fair enough.
And that it qualifies in terms of the turn radius for a fire truck, them turning off of Denton Tap.
Well,
It's
they-
not the fire lane, though,
But they'll have another fire lane that they're gonna. build,
around the
so-
outside of the back of the building.
So that doesn't have to be
Mm-mm.
fire lane accessible?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
According to
So
fire-
then I'm gonna guess that these boxes that they have back here are dumpsters? What
Yeah,
is-
that's a dumpster,
So they have a dumpster at the front of the building?
that's the back of the building.
I thought this was the front.
Oh, it is.
And there's the dumpsters out here in the parking lot in the front.
Yeah, two
It's in the
fronts.
back of the property, yeah.
Technically,
It's in the back of the property, the dumpsters.
Yeah.
Right, but it's the front of the building.
Mhm.
It's the access side of the building.
You don't want them on the Denton tap side.
Yeah, you don't want.
No, I agree.
We can keep them there, I'm all right with that.
This property is challenged, no
Yes.
doubt about it.
So, and the creek that runs along the south, are those homeless people still in there?
No,
For real? I didn't know that.
It's called like Devil's Den, or wait,
Really?
Hell's Gate. Sorry. That's what the high school kids call it.
So Mary, even though there's an access
I never
easement
knew
there,
Yeah.
are they required to
Constraint.
pave it, or can they just leave it open and not improve it? And leave it as just as an access easement?
Right now, they're planning on paving it. If we,
But they don't have to.
well,
That was my question.
Because I'm guessing technically, they have to leave it open so that if the owner of the easement would like access to it, then they would have to improve it.
at this point, they just wanna be able to build their product and
Got it. Okay.
wanna get it done.
Okay.
So they
Is it-
are willing to build.
Is it a condition of the approval, your approval?
No,
It's not.
it's not.
But it's on their site plan.
Could they bubble it and put phase 2 construction?
We can take another look at it and see.
That
Okay.
horse just needs to be beaten.
Yeah. And so item 8 is, I think it's item 8. Or the next one is basically the plat, the
Yeah.
plat for it.
Right.
-9, if they were to do that, right behind the plat, they don't like the zone.
What?
They have a time shot clock issue.
Yeah.
If we don't approve 6, then we can't approve 7,
I mean, 7 and 8.
7 and 8.
Right.
That's what
Right.
you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily. if there's a problem with the plat, you could deny it, but if you don't grant the zoning, you can't
Approve the plat.
approve the plat. That was my.
We'll see what
We'll see,
happens.
yeah.
So, item 9 is Lakeside Elementary, over at Village Parkway, MacArthur, Oak Bend. So essentially, they're looking to do an expansion, about a 20,000 square foot expansion on it. And I'm gonna make a clarification, because originally the plan showed that the add-ons at the back were 2-story. We got clarification, they're only 1-story
Just
add-ons.
has a higher roof.
Yeah, so, the existing building, most of it is 2-story. But the add-ons are gonna be 1-story. So there's 3 parts, 2 at the back, 1 at the front. The ones at the back are gonna be classrooms, pre-K, storm shelter, art room. The one at the front is for, administration, counselors, I think the nurse or something.
What's considered front? Village Parkway is front here?
Yeah, the
That's where they
address
want-
is
Okay.
1100 Village Parkway, so.
So what's the capacity of the school now, and what does this make it?
I don't have that information, but someone from the school board will be there.
So, and with the, I guess the obvious question within light of the discussion about which school are they going to close on the CISD side,
Uh-huh. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about tonight.
and I thought you'd say that. So, and it would likely be out of our purview, but if this is going to soon be another use other than a school, or that they would propose, that's something we have considered in the past of how things are zoned, set up, like, for instance, like a hotel converting to an apartment, to be consistent with the current zoning.
So right now, the current zoning is multifamily. The requested zoning is to go to a PD, and they're doing an SF7.
So we allowed a school to be built on MF property?
They can build
1990s.
anywhere they want.
Yeah, you can go anywhere. It just has to follow the requirements of that district.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, you see my question, it seems a little odd to be reviewing an expansion in light of the conversation, because this likely could be another use in the very near future. And then the PD would have to be amended for whatever that use is, correct?
Right.
But that would
And
require
it's-
coming through the.
They would require, correct, and if we don't, you know, say moving a couple chess pieces, and if whatever the PD, whatever they're proposing at that point, then we're faced with that question, if we want to approve that or not.
Correct.
So, and what if that's not consistent with what we would envision for that space, then we're knowingly putting ourselves in a position to be potentially making it's a realistic possibility, knowing what we know at this point.
So, okay,
You have 2 hats you're wearing.
here's what I'll say, is that the requested zoning in terms of, the PD is a plan development because they're
Yeah.
asking for certain things. But then the base zoning would be SF7, which is consistent with other residential that's around it.
What's compound?
Confidential school.
Oh, well, yeah. But there's all other neighborhoods right around it that are like SF7, SF9, I'm not sure if there's an SF12, but they're all single-family
Yeah.
zoning around it. So this would be, the base zoning would be compatible with what's around it.
So that it never go back to MF.
Well, you would have to request it,
Yeah.
You'd have to rezone it back if you bought the property.
yeah.
Anything other than a school. Or what's consistent with SF7.
Well, SF7 is single-family residential,
That's it.
so this could be
And
used,
they would have to change comp plan. It would not be easy.
If the use was changed.
From anything from SF7 would be very difficult, because you'd have to go back and amend the comp plan I don't see the council amending not planning.
But it's,
To accommodate,
the school is allowed in SF seven.
Schools
Yes.
allowed pretty much anywhere.
they can go anywhere, they get to make a choice where they put their schools. There's 2 court cases, Supreme Court case called, City, or Austin Independent School District versus City of Sunset Valley, and Addison versus Dallas Independent School District. And it's pretty much
Is that like
black letter law that school district, an independent school district is our equal when it comes to where they get selected for the school.
Just like churches can go anywhere.
We
Just
we
default
don't have
what's
very
in there.
much zoning authority over school. It's about to be tested in case it has.
Why do they need a PD then?
Because they're asking for a couple of variances.
They get to make a choice on the use, but they have to comply with health, safety, and welfare regulations, which some of the zoning regulations would fall in that category. So they, a lot of times, get PDs in order to get concessions, if you will, on things like fencing and height and some of those setbacks.
And so the addition, what is the additional number of students they're proposing to bring in?
I don't have that answer.
And they didn't provide us any information with regards to queuing and,
Traffic.
You got traffic study?
Staff parking, additional staff?
No.
Those are relevant questions.
Well, did engineering need a traffic study or anything?
No.
It's just,
You don't need one, or you didn't get one?
Now we should get a circulation study from them.
You should, or we're requiring it.
I mean,
You can
we can
require
make that a
tonight.
condition.
you can add-
well, I'm more concerned about the impact of additional, we're gonna have, I mean, our kids went there. So my wife was telling me all about it, and day-to-day activity, and how our kids got to and from cars, and now we're gonna be plopping on, I don't know how many more. So I'm thinking of the impact of the neighborhood. I'm just the neighborhood impact, not the operation of the school. So that's where I'm at.
Certainly a lot of classrooms. There's a bunch of them in there that they're adding.
Well, yeah, what you have to also worry about is temporary. I don't know, if they have any space for temporaries? I won't get into that.
I'm sorry?
Temporary building,
Temporary classrooms?
temporary classrooms.
They just plop those down anywhere.
Yeah, I know
Come
they
to
do,
us.
but it's there. I'm saying that this campus might get even larger, so those are relevant questions. You're talking about, it's not about operation of the classroom. They get to decide how many students per classroom and how many teachers per student ratio. But it is it's in your purview to talk about impact in travel, circulation, and what I call neighborhood impact, especially the traffic. That's one of the few things you do have control over. I mean, if you were to add 200 students or 100 students or 50 students to an already crowded situation, now you get cars backed up even further, you've got less passage through there, the street gets narrow because people are parking on both sides, letting Johnny and Susie off a block away, because they don't want to sit in line, that kind of thing.
And-
What's across the street? Is that water treatment?
Yeah.
Which way?
and
South?
Water tank.
There's a water tank in those Kimball Court?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember when our kids were going to, or Alex went, because she was a victim of the Lee closure. He went over to Lakeside, but the kids could not go exit onto the Oakwood Lane. Because my wife did that once or twice and
Got her hands
got in
up.
trouble. Yeah. So that means all that is forward facing on Village Parkway,
Yeah.
so.
So one of the exceptions they are asking for is to leave the parking as it is in terms of, because we require that the head-to-head parking to be 9x19. Theirs is like 9x18. We're not gonna make them restrict the whole parking lot. And then the fence along Oakwood Lane. So there's a house,
And would they have the ability to do that, or without expanding the parking lot?
yeah,
That if they expand the drive aisles?
it would, change the whole
Yeah.
nature of everything.
What about the number of parks and what's required?
They have what they need in terms of parking.
What about, isn't there some open space requirement per student, a student?
Ratio.
Yeah, so just for recreational purposes, does the site meet that requirement?
Well, they have 50% basically
pretty big
open
field.
space
Okay.
landscaping.
There's-
Pretty big field to the east.
That field over here never got used. Never got used.
It's too high.
It's too far to walk over there.
So there's 2 houses towards like the Village Parkway area, or to the east. One on the west side of Oak Bend. So typically, you would require a masonry wall, but there's already an existing, the tubular steel fence with the brick columns, with landscaping and trees. So they're requesting just to leave that as is, and they're gonna provide more living screen or landscaping in that area.
So,
Yes, sir.
I think, my guess is that there were more Bradford pears along Oakwood Lane, and they've died over the years because they're poor trees.
So any trees that, because we sent them the plan,
Uh-huh.
so they're replacing trees that have died and they're planting more stuff.
And Bradford pears aren't on our plan.
That's right,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
But-
they'll plant it.
But they're gonna replace it with crepe myrtles, that's not adequate screening.
we've got
It's
one
also
that's
not a
great
tree.
myrtles.
Well, I didn't see overstory or any kind of trees in there.
Well, because there's also some existing trees, big trees that are there, you can't crowd them out either.
It's two Bradford pears
Two Bradford pears.
they look like
On
they've
their
been hacked
side?
on. It's on the other side of the fence.
It's on the other side of the
Yeah,
fence.
terrible.
It's The
And
residents.
so crepe myrtles are not gonna screen all the new area. You'll have a lot of hardscaping. So,
Yeah, on Oakwood, they're pretty, right up.
so
Right up
in
against
my
the street.
rendition, I was like,
It's
we
gonna
need
be-
to do something to.
Those people on
calibrate
Oakwood
that
are gonna
up.
be staring at a
Could ask
building
them.
on the other side of the street. Not much of a
You got,
setback.
the landscaping shown on one of your slides though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so she's got the landscape trees.
It looked like,
They-
it looked
they
like
have
crepe
the fence.
myrtles. Oh, pistachio to the side, okay. All right.
So what is the requirement for the number of parks that they're supposed to have? Because it doesn't mention anything in terms, and part of it's gonna be administration, so it sounds like those folks will be driving.
yeah, it's based
Parking.
on, is it number of classrooms plus a certain number.
Right, but we're adding classrooms, so does that number change?
Yeah.
They meet the requirement though.
Okay.
They were overparked.
Well, how do we know that?
Huh?
I mean, it doesn't say that anywhere here
On the,
in the staff report.
yeah, sorry, I did not mention that in the staff report.
You could not?
I did not.
Oh, you did not?
Yeah,
That's,
I apologize. But on the site plan, there's a table
okay.
that shows number of
Didn't see
parking.
that.
Can pull that one.
Required and provided,
Yeah,
I can't, let's see here. Yeah, we can get you an answer for out there in the,
124 spaces,
what do you have there?
parking spaces require 124 spaces. I think.
Yes, it's whichever's 90 are required total spaces. Existing 119, existing, handicap 5, 124 provided.
till you found it.
Or, yes.
Oh, okay,
One
different table.
There's site data table, is that what you're looking at?
So here it says 1 per 5 seats in the auditorium or 1 per each classroom plus 6 spaces. So, whichever greater 90, and they have 124.
Do they have an auditorium?
Gym. Auditorium.
I can't remember.
So it doesn't take into account the number of staff required parks. It's only based on auditorium and classroom, which they may or may not have an auditorium.
Parent teacher night, there will not be enough for.
What's that?
Yeah, for sure.
Teacher night, there will not.
Parent teacher night.
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
normal.
Never is.
Yeah.
Never is.
Whichever is greater, so 90 are required.
Yeah. And they're providing 124.
So I guess the 450 is their gymnasium. We can ask them out there. And does the gym qualify as an auditorium?
Conversion, yeah, pull out the bleachers.
I'm assuming it's their gymnasium.
All right.
In terms of elevations, they're trying to use the same color brick so that it looks all the same. They're gonna have a new monument sign out front. So in terms of, when we sent out letters, we got about 8 phone calls. Basically just asking, what's going on. We saw the sign, what's going on, so just kind of explained to them, about the new construction. I didn't get any written responses or anything like that.
That is right.
So, but the new addition is 1 story or 2 stories?
So originally on their plans, it said 2-story.
Right,
But
yeah.
But when we met with them, after this had already gone out, we
Oh, okay,
verified,
okay.
and it's 1 story.
It says 2-story on it.
Yeah, it does say 2-story on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Item number 10, Victory, Coppell. So essentially, for lot 2, it's going from a 9,000 and 95 square foot building with 2 drive-through lanes. They bumped up the building size, that's why we have to come back through the process again. So they're looking to do a 10,540 square foot building, and they dropped one of the drive-throughs, so there'll be 1 drive-through, bigger building, added parking to the rear, and they put the fire riser room outside the building. Essentially, everything else you've already kind of heard. The building's style, kind of the same, landscaping, just.
Is there a limit how many times these things can come back?
I know.
No, this is 7, so
7.
Just curious.
Wait till next month.
don't even joke about it. So, added parking, same thing, it's got part of the linear park is in the slot, they'll put it with phase 1. We sent out letters, no responses. And then we've got, do you have any questions on that one? We have item 11, which is, Mr. Steer.
Thank you, Ms. Peron Boswell. My case is really simple. It's a 10,000 square foot building addition to a existing office building. And they're meeting all the requirements. That's why it's a straight site plan. And then they're coming back with a replat to extend the replat around where they're adding on.
The filing,
What is it called?
the replat.
Okay, the replat is extending the fire lane around the addition. So, any questions about that one?
Not yet.
Parking?
They're meeting the parking requirements. Okay.
Update,
Late.
yeah, Just to give you a quick update, PD for golf track and 804 Bullock were both approved at city council. So now we're gonna work on the ordinance to take back next month. Freddie Guerra resigned from P and Z. He's moving out of town. And P and Z commission re-up interviews are in October. If you're on the re-up, you should be getting an email soon. Not sure when exactly, but soon.
When is he stepping down, or has he stepped down?
He has stuff, it was effective immediately.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's going to council Tuesday.
Yeah, it must be accepted by council.
Oh. Where's he moving?
I don't know.
Haven't seen it.
Any other questions of staff? You got a busy night.
About 20 people.
20? That's it. Okay. All right, with that, the
You're off
time
on HOA right
is
there,
6:40, 6:41. I'll adjourn the work session. 5-minute break.
All righty. The time is 6:47. The Planning and Zoning Commission is now convening into regular session. Our first order of business tonight is to review the minutes of our meeting in July. I'm sorry, no, sorry. Citizens' appearance, sorry. Is there anybody who would like to speak on any item not on the agenda tonight? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the citizens' appearance, move on to item 5. That's to consider the approval of minutes of our July 17th meeting. Are there any comments, or is there a motion by the commission?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes of July 17th, 2025, Planning and Zoning.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Maher. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Blankenship. Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay, so I call your name. Commissioner Dobmeyer,
Aye.
Vice Chair Blankenship,
Aye.
Chairman Haas,
Aye.
Commissioner Mauer,
Aye.
Commissioner Haveman,
Abstain.
and Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Okay, very good. Item 6 on the agenda is to consider approval of PD-223 R2-C, Lot 12R, the Kimball Edition, that being a Goodwill, amending a detailed plan development to allow up to a 100% warehouse and distribution of floor area on 1090 East Sandy Lake Road for a Goodwill donation drop-off only with a drive-through facility located at 1090 East Sandy Lake Road at the request of the property owner. We have a staff presentation by Ms. Mary Prone Boswell. Mary?
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. Item 6 is a public hearing. So this request is for property identified as Lot 12R, has one building containing 2 suite addresses, 1080 and 1090 East Sandy Lake Road. The western portion of the building, 1080 East Sandy Lake Road, has been a pizza restaurant occupied by various entities, currently occupied by Marco's Pizza. The adjacent suite on the eastern end of the building is addressed 1090 East Sandy Lake Road, is currently vacant. This 2,500 square foot portion of the building also contains a drive-through. The applicant is proposing to have a Goodwill donation drop-off only, where donations will be dropped off at the front parking area and via the drive-through. So as I mentioned, there is a drive-through lane. Let's see here. Proposed hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So there is a roll-up door at the rear of the building, in red on your screen, where the Goodwill box trucks will pick up items from this location, transported to another location for sorting and redistribution to their retail facilities. Now, the yellow represents the storage area within the building, and then the hatched marks are for paths of egress. So they were able to provide us with some pictures of where the items would be stored. They would be in these wheeled containers, as shown in the photographs here. They are proposing this kind of signage. It does not quite fit our requirements. The blue background would not be allowed where the donation express is. So one of our conditions would be if this was approved that all signage meet our requirements. So the commercial zoning district regulations limits the amount of warehousing and distribution to a maximum of 20% of the floor area. The request before you is to use approximately 100% of the floor area for warehousing and distribution of the donated items. There is no commercial retail component to this request. As explained in their narrative, items would be dropped off to the site, stored in the building, then distributed at the main Goodwill facilities to be processed, and finally to one of their retail locations. Staff has indicated to the applicant that the requested use is in line with property zoned light industrial, excuse me, and that staff would not support the request to convert this commercial site to one that does not provide for any retail or commercial uses and does not provide for the daily shopping, dining, and service needs of the residential neighborhoods as listed in the comprehensive plan. Furthermore, staff is concerned about illegal dumping and blight, as this can become a magnet for unwanted items, which in turn would negatively impact the area. For these reasons, staff is unable to support the request. Now, this is a zoning change request. We did send out letters within 200 feet as required by state law, additional courtesy notices within 800 feet, and we received no responses. As I mentioned, staff is recommending denial of the request. If the Planning and Zoning Commission were to recommend approval of the request, staff would recommend the following PD conditions. One, that there may be additional comments during the detailed building review. 2A, no outside storage of donations allowed. 2B, no trailers or storage containers or the like allowed. And C, signs must comply with ordinance requirements. This is the end of my presentation, and I believe the applicant is here and has some handouts for you.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mary. Any questions of the commission, of staff? Okay. Is the applicant here to present the case? If we could get your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, my name is Alan Hinckley, 12300 Park Central Drive, Dallas, Texas. I'm here on behalf of the owner tonight, and Tim Heiss with the Goodwill Industries is also here to give part of the presentation. So just to give you some background, I previously lived in Coppell for 7 years, had 4 children here, and have really enjoyed the community and know firsthand what this community is like, and appreciate that. Our leasing team on our other properties in Coppell has worked very hard to bring high-quality, good tenants like Trader Joe's and Jason's and other tenants here. So we've worked very hard to keep our centers very clean and be vibrant. And this location was actually rezoned from a gas station to the CVS. And so we just respectfully ask that for your support tonight. Goodwill explain some of the things. I've looked at their facilities. I recognize the pictures that you've shown, but each of the regions of Goodwill is different. They're run independently. The Dallas location is run in a first-class manner, and I am comfortable with how this is going to be done, and we would accept the conditions as well as making sure the location would be very clean and kept. So I'm going to turn it over to Tim Heiss with Goodwill, and I have some handouts.
Very good. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tim Heiss. I'm President and CEO of Goodwill Industries of Dallas, 3020 Northwest Moreland Road, Dallas, Texas. It's wonderful to be kind of in front of you tonight. I joined Goodwill 6 years ago, and my anniversary is next week. Before that, I was at Neiman Marcus and Bath & Body Works, so it was my first not-for-profit experience. Won't take much of your time. Goodwill is a not-for-profit. Our mission is to serve individuals with barriers to employment and really to help them get a job. And a lot of those individuals have intellectual and development disabilities, and then other individuals have other barriers that they face. We've been in North Texas for 102 years. As mentioned, we're the first Goodwill in Texas, but there are 15 other Goodwills. We're here today just to ask for your support. To have a donation-only drop-off on the Sandy Lake Road. In communities like yours that are well put together and citizens care about their community, and they have some affluence and they have a lot of blessings, are looking for 2 things when they think about donations. The first thing, it's very deeply ingrained human nature to want to give meaning to something that once belonged to you to someone else, and they want somebody to do something good with it. And then the second thing they want is convenience. And what we're trying to do with the Donation Express is to solve those 2 needs. And so the thing to know, and when you're looking through the presentation, is really the process of how we do these things. The Donation Express seeks to meet this in two ways. It's first a valet donation center. So when a driver comes up, it's kind of a white glove service. We get it out of your trunk, we get you in, we get you out, and we get you on your way, and we thank you for your donation. Then from there, you want to move things if you're in the thrift business. Otherwise, you see that picture on that wall, and we're 100% committed to that. We've implemented a lot of Toyota production processes to continue to move things, and so this location would be serviced daily. As mentioned by the staff presentation, it would go to Westmoreland to then get further processed, sent out to the stores, and all that happens within, until the very end of it in a very short period of time. And so happy to answer any questions, and thank you for your consideration.
A couple of questions for you there.
Yeah.
So there were some pictures of drop-offs that got out of hand. All of those operations would be indoor, correct?
That's correct.
There's no kind of drop-off facility external to the building.
That's correct. And so we would service it with a box truck. And so essentially the frequency of our box trucks, what we look for is a little bit of space. This is 2,500 square feet where you could fit more than a box truck inside. And then we service it based on the frequency that is filled, because we're very mindful that no one wants to see any of this stuff outside.
And given that this operation falls under our light industrial, was there no other site within the community that you could find for a drop-off location?
We really like this site in particular because of the drive-through nature of it. It's very convenient for folks, and that's what they're looking for. And so the goal is to get them in and out of that process and get them on their way.
Okay. Any questions of the applicant by the commission? John?
Yeah, so for outside drop-off after hours, just looking at the site, I don't see a sort of a practical place where there would be a place, would it be in the building, in the side of the building, or surely there's going to be people who show up after hours and want to drop stuff off. How would that be accommodated at this
Yeah,
site?
so the site's manned 7 days a week, 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. And that's the first thing everybody looks for going in. So there'd be no dumping signs on that. Right now, we don't have overnight dropping kind of in the building. If it was open to, but it's not part of the ordinances. Is we do have a drop box. So a lot of cities do the drop boxes, and we think it's terrible because it looks terrible, but it's a useful thing for overnight drop-offs. But the first thing every morning, it would be brought inside if there was anything dropped off after hours.
Where would you anticipate that going on the site?
I would have to ask my team.
Yeah, the landlord's not going to permit any type of box or anything. It's not permitted or allowed. We wouldn't want anything to be stored. They have camera systems. If it does, it would be unlikely. All of these rollout of these Goodwill locations are all in high net worth areas all over the Metroplex, Plano, and they'd included a map. So they're going into Frisco, these other areas, because that basically drives the store. So they're trying to make it convenient for people with high net worth areas to give these donations right away. So they can add cameras and other things, but from the landlord's perspective, we do not want it to be messy. We want it to be clean, and I'm confident it will. And I just think that it's a service to the community. So we just ask that would be the answer for that. You have any other questions?
Any other questions of the commission? Mike?
Yes, so in one of the photos, it shows that there's some sort of improvement or build out on the inside. It doesn't show that on the floor plan. So what would be the plans for the inside of the space?
The space would be wide open. It currently has a bathroom that's in there, and it'd just be wide open. The cross hatching, the fire marshal had just asked we put those on there. They're very organized and systematic. If you look at the pictures if you would put that up, Mary, that just showed the picture that we had provided that showed the inside.
Yeah.
Basically, those blue boxes are filled or rolled. If it's a really successful location like some of the other locations, then a box truck can come multiple times a day. And so it's intended to get the inventory out of there and not to be stored. And it's very clean and organized. It has to be.
And then in terms of, so back to the earlier question, some of the other locations that you reference in the presentation, are they in similar spaces from a retail standpoint versus warehouse or distribution, one? And then two, have you experienced any after hours drop-offs, pile-ups? Has it been an issue in any location?
I'll let him address that, but all the locations I've seen are all in retail locations. There are other ones to be high visible drive-throughs, and that's why they came to us.
Got it.
And no issue with the overnight like pileups.
Okay. Thank you.
I do have one follow-up question. So looking at the image of the site, the glass is clear. So operations, if not that people are going to be looking in, but they might as they're driving by, the organization of it, is there an organized operation within? So it's not like just stuffed everywhere and it's just, yeah.
The glass will be frosted, so you'll have natural light, but you will not be able to see into it.
Okay.
Yeah, because we want it to look good from the outside too. I mean, we've got the other tenants around that property that we worked hard to bring into Coppell. We want it to look good from the
Any
outside.
feedback from the other existing tenant there regarding the proposed use?
No, sir. I have not had any complaints. It's just part of a service that, I think would be part of the community. And I think once it comes in, it'll be just part of the community.
No.
And the space is ready for a tenant, and we would just respectfully ask your support.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, Sue. I'm sorry.
One more question. So what's your next closest facility where you accept drop-offs, not necessarily a donation express?
Well, this would be the first in Coppell. So the nearest one is on Round Grove Road up in Louisville.
Okay, so that's about 3 miles away?
Yeah, I think about 3 miles.
Okay.
So that's and customers will travel to see kind of cool thrift product. Donors will not. Donors want convenience, and that's kind of the idea.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions by the commission? I'm sorry, Sue. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I had a question for staff, Mary or Matt. So thank you. If a use like this were to be requested in a light industrial area that didn't have a drive-through, what kind of process would be required if they wanted to try to have a drive-through for an express drop-off? First of all, would it be allowed, number one? And then number two, would there be any staff concerns for something like that?
In terms of the warehousing or the drop-off component of it or storage, it's more compatible with light industrial type uses. I think with any type of drive-through, I think with this type of use in general, we'd still have concerns about after-hour drop-off and just clutter or outside of the building after hours. So I think there's always that concern, but it's more conducive to LI in our city.
Okay, and amending a light industrial, one of our light industrial buildings for a drive-through, if they wanted to add on an express lane, is that problematic within light industrial or light industrial zoning to add an express lane, drop off, that kind of thing, similar to what they're proposing here?
I think we just have to take a look at it and do, perhaps some kind of site plan amendment, see how, it depends on the site, right? We'd have to take a look and make sure it works on that site.
Okay. Thank you. So this is a public hearing. Is there anybody who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? Okay. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any discussion by the commission? Cindy?
Thank you. Yeah, in the past, I've used Goodwill services a lot. I've donated a lot of stuff to them, and then the facilities that I've donated at, I don't recall seeing any piles of stuff as I've driven by. But that being said, this is inconsistent with the master plan. so I feel obligated to vote against it.
Okay. Any other comments by commission?
Yes.
Ken?
Yeah, I agree with Cindy. I'm uncomfortable with the location of this being right on one of the main streets of Coppell. I'd rather see this in a secondary type of location.
Sue?
I think I agree with both commissioners who have spoken. This is one of the front doors to Coppell, and the hours of operation is less than 50% of the time. And so the other 50% of the time, people will be dropping things off, and it won't look great at 50% of the time, if not more. So I'm not in support of this.
Any other comments or thoughts by the commission?
Yeah, I mean, this is a difficult one, but I think from a use standpoint, the center has been vacant for a while. The convenience that it adds, I mean, I don't have a large issue with it. I think as long as it conforms from a signage standpoint and the trailers, and as long as it's, you know, adequately parked for the number of employees that are going to be there across the center. So that's my take.
Very good. All righty. Is there a motion by the commission?
I'll move to deny the request. Let's see here. Item number 6, PD 223R2-C, Lot 12R, Kimball Addition, Goodwill amending the detailed plan development to allow for up to 100% warehouse and distribution of the floor area at 1090 East Sandy Lake Road for a Goodwill donation drop-off.
Okay, very good. We have a motion by Commissioner Hafman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Blankenship. Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Dobmeyer,
Nay?
Vice Chair Blankenship,
Aye.
Chairman Haas,
Aye.
Commissioner Mauer,
Nay.
Commissioner Hafman,
Aye.
and Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
4 in favor, 2 opposed, motion carries.
Okay. Thank you very much for the submittal. Okay, item 7 on the agenda is a public hearing. This is to consider approval of PD-286R-R, Pecan Creek Shopping Center, Lot 2A-R, Block A, a new detailed plan development revising the current plan development number 286 retail to allow a detailed plan for 2 restaurant/retail buildings totaling 16,755 square feet on 2.45 acres of land located on the northeast corner of South Denton Tap Road and the Dart right-of-way. At the request of Bellotti Investments, being represented by Costa Mazzigi of the Mazzigi Group Engineering. We have a staff presentation by Ms. Mary Prone-Boswell. Mary?
So this property has been zoned retail uses for over 40 years. In 2017, a PD was approved to allow 2 retail buildings and associated parking on this irregularly shaped property. The site backs up to a sloped area with a creek and floodplain. This revised plan still proposes 2 buildings with a slightly different configuration. There are 3 proposed driveways onto Denton Tap Road, one that is split between Growit property to the north, one that is in the center that is at a median opening, and one along the southern edge of the property. Both buildings are proposed to have retail and restaurant uses, with the northern building also having a small outdoor patio area. The buildings will be offset from the road with an access easement in the front yard. Parking is located behind the buildings. The northernmost building is proposed to be approximately 10,206 square feet, and the southernmost building approximately 6,549 square feet. So there is a retaining wall proposed along the southern rear portion of the lot, it's that light blue line. A masonry screening wall will be constructed on top of the retaining wall, satisfying the screening requirement between commercial and residential to the east. There are many easements on this property that limit the size and location of where buildings and parking can be placed. As I mentioned, there's a floodplain to the rear of the site, an erosion hazard setback, a drainage easement, a 20-foot sanitary sewer easement that all exist at the rear side of the property. This request is to develop the property in accordance with the provisions of the existing retail zoning district regulations with 3 exceptions. The first requested exception is to allow patios under 500 square feet per building to not require additional parking. Anything over 500 feet will need to be parked. They are currently showing one patio about 414 square feet. This variance has been requested and granted elsewhere, such as the Victory Coppell project. The second requested exception is to allow the landscaping as presented. So this is just to illustrate some of the many easements on this property that limit the development area. So you see the striped portion, that's an easement that's being eliminated. The red is fire lane, the yellow is a slope or erosion hazard setback, and then the green is a drainage easement. And that's not including the other easements on this site. So in terms of the overall site, it's about 20% landscaped. The site maintains a 15-foot landscape strip along Denton Tap Road with a variety of trees to be planted there. This extends along the perimeter of the site. There's a small area to the south where that little bend is, where it's slightly less than 10 feet, but the rest of the perimeter makes up for that. Additional landscaping is provided within the parking area and in front of the building. As mentioned previously, the site is oddly shaped with a slope, creek, and floodplain along the eastern portion and has several easement constraints. The applicant is working to preserve trees within the creek area, plant additional trees along the eastern property line. They are asking for a variance to the non-vehicular landscaping requirement, and staff is not opposed to this request. In terms of elevations, this one represents Building 1. The buildings will face Denton Tap Road. The main entrance will be actually from the back side, so both the east and west sides of the building will mirror one another. The buildings will have storefront glazing system with metal awnings. The elevations will contain brown brick and stone with a precast stone parapet. The dumpsters will match the building materials. In terms of signage, none was proposed, so signage will need to comply with ordinance requirements. And so this is Building 2, essentially the same thing, same building materials, and the front and the back will mirror one another. Again, this is a zoning change request. We did send out 18 letters within 200 feet as required by state law, and an additional 121 letters as a courtesy. We did receive one response from the northern property owner who was concerned about drainage from the site and how that would impact their lot, as well as a water meter. So engineering staff did look at preliminary engineering and did not see anything in terms of drainage that would impact that site. And further analysis will be done at time of engineering review. So staff is recommending approval of the request subject to the following conditions. There may be additional comments during the detailed engineering review. The plat must be filed prior to permitting. A tree removal permit is required. All building signage shall comply with city regulations at time of permitting. PD condition to allow the landscaping as presented. Another PD condition to allow the patios under 500 square feet per building to not require additional parking, and to allow the metal awnings that have been previously approved with other projects. That is the end of my presentation, and the applicant is here as well if you have further questions.
Thank you, Mary. Quick question for you. So with regards to the landscaping, so they were asking for relaxing of the easement on the north end of the property?
So non-vehicular landscaping. So they're required to have about 13,000. They have about just under 4,000, 3,000 something. Based on just how the property is lined up, there is no additional area to do it unless they took out the drive aisles in the front of the building, which we looked at, but were unable to come to an agreement with all the owners of that easement.
Okay. I'm looking at a note here on one of the plan submittals, and the note is the required 10-foot landscape buffer south of the mutual access drive on the north side of the property is not provided due to space constraint.
So typically, when there's an access easement or drive aisle, they provide it elsewhere on site. So I'm not sure why that note is there, actually.
Yeah, because my comment would be, well, why not reduce the building size?
So they've added additional landscaping in front of the building. You can see the little green strip there. But essentially, other than either reducing the building size or getting rid of some of those driveways,
Okay.
there really is no other area.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Any questions of staff by the commission? Okay, is the applicant here to present the case? Yes. Good evening. If I could get your name and address for the record?
Costa Mazigi Group Engineering, location 11105 Fernald Avenue, Dallas, Texas. So I've been working on that project, and I believe this is a valuable project for commercial development in this area. We're going to have some restaurants as well as retail spaces in that development. And this was kind of a challenging kind of project, basically. To answer your last question, we use that area which is on the southeast side of the lot. There's some additional area that we considered as part of that buffering, 10-foot buffer.
To
so we have
offset
more than
the-
10 feet. Yeah,
to offset the other
that,
side.
yeah. So we believe this development is going to be kind of quite valuable for that area. It was quite challenging because of the drainage kind of conditions, and we were able to kind of design it in such a way that we eliminate any additional drainage that's going towards Lot 1, which is our neighbor. So practically, we're going to have zero drainage going to the adjacent lot, north or east of our site. We're collecting everything, and then we're sending it to the creek, right, at the outfall, which is by the edge of our property. It's shown on the south, it's abutting the southeast side of our property line. Besides that, we feel that this is a nice project that would like to make sure, we get your approval for that, and the exceptions too.
Okay, questions of the applicant by the commission? Sue? I'm giving you, I can come back to you. Any other questions by the commission of the applicant? Okay, we might save some for later.
Oh, okay, I'll have a question.
Okay.
So I was really confused about that 30-foot, or I guess it's a 24-foot access easement in front of the building.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any way to get rid of that access, that cross-access easement?
Well, that was part of the development agreement that was signed when the lots were subdivided. So it's a very difficult situation to get through it. So
Okay. It just seems like a redundancy to build that drive in addition to the parking in the
yeah,
back.
I mean, the owner, would like to keep that
Okay.
as an easement there.
The owner would like to keep that, okay.
As part of the agreement, I mean, because,
Okay,
okay,
thank you very much.
sure, thank you.
This is a public hearing. We do have some folks that are signed up to speak on the item. Emil Turner. And then we also have David Flesher. But we'll start with Mr. Turner.
It's Emra Terrer. I live at 145 Glendale Drive, which is the southeast corner, basically behind this lot. And thank you for the chair and all the commission for allowing me to speak. I know this board has a lot to sort of discuss with the potential revenue of having these businesses here, and I know this is just a sort of revision plan, but I have to say I'm very much opposed to having this sort of in my backyard. And there are sort of three concerns I have. Having a lot of businesses right in my backyard, having the light pollution, having the noise pollution of restaurants and retail, a couple 100 feet from my property is not great. There's at least 3 properties that will look directly into this area, and I realize there is a 6-foot wall, but I'm 6 feet tall, and I can say that the people in the back can see quite over me. This lot is quite a bit elevated from the residential areas on the other side of the creek, so you can quite easily see how you can see over it. During winter, when there's no foliage, I can see clearly through this lot. And obviously, that would greatly impact my property value as well as my neighbors. The second concern is having restaurants right there. They're going to be dumping a lot of food, obviously. There's a lot of food waste, and where there's food waste, there's going to be rats and vermin, and it's right next to the creek. I can say that I have raccoons fairly often. I'm sure everyone here in Coppell does. Rats, but basically, it's going to be a rat breeding ground right there, right next to the creek. And, the northern neighbor, that's a nursery, a plant nursery. I'm sure they haven't thought about it, but I'm sure having tons of rats running through their property is not going to be great for them. Also, I can say as a scientist, I can say that rats you cannot get rid of, and any sort of mitigation of rats is just to push them to neighboring locations. So that's going to go across the creek. They're going to go into my property, into my neighbors, and into that plant nursery. And the last concern I have is I mentioned this property is quite a bit elevated, and having walked my dog through it, I can say I can stand on that site and look directly into my property. So there's a privacy issue there. The most obvious thing to see is my second floor window, where my daughters are. So I don't particularly care for that. So those are my major concerns. I'm not opposed to, businesses being there, but, having a business with a lot of people coming in and out, I just, am very uneasy about it. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Did I get this right? Is it Emerald?
Emra.
How do you spell that?
E-M-R-E.
E-M-R-E, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Question for staff. The zoning on the base zoning on this property?
Retail,
So it's been retail for,
40 years.
his comments bring up another line of questions that I might have for the applicant regarding hours of operation and lighting and cutoff, things like that, but we'll continue on with the public hearing. David Flesher?
Hello, I'm David Flesher. We just moved from Coppell after 26 years to Irving. Kids are gone, so my address is 4424 St. Andrews Boulevard in Irving. My brother and I own Grow It Land Designs. We've owned that property for 17 years, so we've been waiting for a neighbor for 17 years of that property. I like the concept. There's just a few questions I have. Again, I'm a landscaper. My brother, we're landscapers. We know what we're doing there. But when you come to developments, my attorney is Robert Linebrun, very thorough. He was partners with Jay Turner that helped build half of Coppell. So his concerns were just with shared access easements that are in writing right now, and it's in law. But you were talking about that one road going into your, it's being landscaped, like why is it there? So we're open to talk about the shared access easement still, because our vehicles right now cut through that property, and we have another one going west to east that goes to the back of our property. Our trucks are going through there all day, and so that is a concern of ours. So I just want to get something in writing and recorded before something's passed. The drainage is also a huge concern. When it rains, we have our torrential rains, it's like a river going through our property because the elevation is huge, just declined into our property. Talking to Mr. Costa today, so this is a new drawing, I've never seen this. I know, so last month they presented something that was different than this. So I was hoping to see this before this meeting so I can present this to our civil engineer. He looked at the drainage, had a few questions, wanted a more thorough drawing. And our attorney also, with the shared easements, he wanted it a little more thorough. He's never seen this yet. So I just want to make sure that we have all the questions marked before we approve something that's going to hopefully not affect our business. I love to have a business there. The more people there that are convenient to restaurants, are going to come visit our place. People that are visiting our place are going to go eat. So I'm not opposed to having a business there. I just want to make sure the easements are right and the drainage. Okay. So that's my only concerns.
Thank you very much. I'll have a question for staff.
Okay.
So, thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? Come on down. So you're the applicant. Are you part of the public hearing?
He's the owner.
I'm one of the property owners.
Okay, we'll come back to you in just a minute. Let me get the folks who want to speak on the item. So we'll come back to you. We'll come back. Yeah.
Now, with regards to...
Can I ask you to hold on?
Yes.
Yes. I'll come back to you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on this case as part of the public hearing before we return back to the applicant? Okay.
Actually, I have a question for the last speaker. Mr. Fletcher. So it would appear from this drawing that that's the drive directly below your property. That's going to put this building really, really close to where you are right now. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe a large portion of this is where your customers park today.
Correct.
What's the plan for, if this were to be implemented, what would be your plan for parking and access?
We've talked about that. We'll have to condense our show space. And the front area also will have to, right now it's like show space, we'll have to make that parking. But yeah, parking's gonna be an issue. So, but we do plan on condensing it and moving it closer because that fire lane's taking 12 foot of that land. So we've done some drawings. We'll still be able to park closer, but it's gonna take a lot of our presentation area away, which we're okay with. We've been very lucky that the Coppell and the surrounding communities have been great. We have a great following. We do a lot of landscape installs is really what our bread and butter is. Retail's tough, but we don't have to advertise because we have a good reputation. Okay. But the parking is huge, you're right.
Yeah. Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, before we get to you, Mary, so during the public hearing, we had a comment regarding that they were not aware of this latest and greatest, but in our pre-session, you all had visited with the neighboring property owner as part of this and could not reach consensus on this? Did I get that right?
So we had worked with them regarding this property with the last configuration, And I believe Mr. Costa had talked with them in the last week or so because they knew there was the new proposal. And so the proposal is relatively the same. The easements are the same.
Sir, I've closed it. Thank you.
And so, these plans were going through review. They were available to the public as of last Friday.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Thank you for waiting there.
Yes, no problem. This same plan, except the previous version had that portion of the access easement going north-south in front of the small building. It was a landscaped, area. So we removed that and we continued it to be as a access easement. And the engineer, or Mr. David, has reviewed that plan, and he issues a letter that he approved of what we have. But
Okay.
he said that he would like to have construction plans to look at them, and we'll be ready to give them construction plans once we do the construction plans, once we prepare them.
Yeah, if you could talk into the microphone.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So, Mr. David's engineer has approved what we have, and he wanted to look at the construction plans. And we're ready to give him construction plans once we get to that phase of our work. Now we're doing preliminary work, and we're trying to get the site plan approved. And that was given to us about a month ago.
Okay.
With regards to the restaurants, less than quarter of that area is going to be restaurants, so it's going to be mostly retail, and a few restaurants here and there.
I do have some follow-up. I mean, given that the site is retail, and we heard some comments from the public regarding operations, what are the proposed hours of operation on your restaurant?
I'm one of the partners. My name is Shema Beiruti.
Can you pull the microphone down?
My name is Shema Beiruti. My address is 5236 Running River Drive, Plano, Texas 75093. And regarding the operation hours, it depends on each. If it's restaurant, maybe have till 9, 10, 11, depends on each business. So I'm currently manage a lot of property myself, and we have no issue with tenants, with restaurant, with any type of businesses. And we've been very successful in the last 25 years in this kind of businesses. We own a lot of retails and light industrial and everything, so should.
Okay.
And I wanted to address the rat issue.
Yes, sure.
I mean, we have so many retails. We have one of our shopping center in Fort Worth. We have like 170,000 square foot. We have 5 guys. We have all kind of franchisee, and we have no issue with rats, no whatsoever. So I don't think this is an issue with any restaurant, unless you neglect the property, you leave the trash. We do power wash. We maintain enough pickup times for the trash. We maintain everything. We have cameras all over the property. I mean, one of the shopping center, you can check it out yourself. It's beautiful in Fort Worth, and you can go ask the tenants. It's like really self-maintenance, like not a big issue with the rats.
And it appears from the site plan it's also fully contained and screened?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of trees on the creek, so it's not going to be somebody's going to go and just watch the neighbors in the back. So that's not going to happen. We have a lot of trees there. When I went there last month, we barely can see the creek because of the trees. And he lives behind the creek, so I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll follow up with staff on hours of operation, typically what we've approved in other locations.
Yeah, they're going to have to come to you through, each tenant. They're going to have to come do the CO and all this, and you can approve every time somebody come, you can approve them.
And then thinking about restaurant and lighting, is the lighting access or cut off so that there's no light shed beyond your property into the adjacent?
We're still working on that part. So anything that you approve it, we're going to come to you it comes to that part.
We'll make sure it's screened, lighting is screened so that residential areas don't get impacted by the
Yes.
lighting from the.
Oh, yeah.
They'll have to do a photometric plan for a building.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And along with addressing drainage?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
And
Thank you very much.
And regarding the easement, this is the easement going north and south. That's access easement to the neighbor. We tried to work with him in the past, years ago, to eliminate that north and south easement and give him an access through the property, but he took forever to just delay the project, and he did not want to sign. We met several times at the city, and they didn't want to sign. Now I told Costa, forget about him, just redo the whole plan, like now, we present it now, everything stays the same, and we're gonna keep that easement going all the way through his property too. It's gonna be, we have shared easement, and we're gonna pave that east and west ourselves. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. While the applicant's
welcome.
here, any other questions of the applicant? Cindy?
It wasn't clear to me. Have you done any type of drainage studies? Which way does the stormwater drain?
It's going to be collecting from the site, our site. All the water is going to be collected through. Do we have the drainage plan handy? Okay. It's going to be, I got it here. Let me give you a copy here. If you look at this drainage plan, we have inlets that are collecting.
Sir, if I could get you to come to the microphone so that people can hear.
On this drainage plan, we have inlets that are collecting the stormwater and from throughout the site, and then we are discharging into the creek. Oh, yeah, that's good.
Sort of due east, it looks like.
Yeah, it's going to go east.
Have there been any studies done yet to calculate the increased water flow into the creek as a result of paving over the dirt?
Yes.
I'm worried about flooding of the creek.
We did some HECRAS studies, and we are way above the flood, the 100-year flood zone, floodplain, yes.
Cindy,
Stormwater
those will
drainage.
be addressed at plating, the drainage study. You would have to comply with the requirements, so there's no shed.
Yeah, we did HECRAS studies, and then we are way above the 100-year floodplain elevation.
Yeah, engineering's reviewed the preliminary drainage and has no concerns at this time.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mary, following up on the hours of operation, what do we typically allow for restaurant-type uses, operations-wise?
Somewhere around 10, 11 o'clock. It's like Jason's Deli, which is a little bit different, I would think, is like till 10.
But that
PM.
becomes part of the condition as
Right.
as approval, okay.
Yeah, so if you wanted to add that, you could do that. at
Well, I
this
mean,
time.
if there's a recommendation from me, I would want it to be consistent with what we allow other restaurant uses.
Mhm. So like I said, just the one that we looked up was till 10 PM. I would think that even, I don't know if we did something for,
Set the maximum hours.
Yeah.
Like 7 till 11 or 12, shall not exceed those hours.
So it's typically 12,
Typically, it's 10 or 11.
yeah.
10 or 11, okay. 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 I guess since I'm talking here, so the easement generated some buzz in our work session. We felt that it was kind of overkill on the site, but we get it. That's part of the agreements there with the adjacent property owner. It looks like the adjacent property owner is going to have to provide some on-site containment of parking. That's a different property now that it's sold off, so that's going to be a requirement on the owner to the north there to address those issues. But I guess with, we've always tried to be very cognizant of comments from the public regarding restaurant uses that abut to adjacent residential, and so that's why I'm asking those questions about operations and lighting and cutoff. And so typically those are addressed, as part of the detailed requirements, but I am totally for putting some conditions regarding hours of operation and the requirement of addressing lighting as part of the follow-on aspects to the site there. So other than that, I mean, it's been a difficult site to deal with. It's retail zone, so it's been there for quite a while. So I do have, I will add an amendment to the conditions, but those are my comments on the site. Are there any other comments by the commission? I've closed the public hearing. Okay, so with that, I'll make a motion to amend to approve the application as presented with the conditions provided by staff. In addition, that hours of operation be contained from 7 to 10 p.m. And that the lighting and drainage be addressed as part of detailed planning. Did I get that right? Is that part of the
Clarification, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. or 7
I'm sorry,
p.m.?
7 a.m. to, yes, thank you. 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And that the lighting cut off to the adjacent residential and the drainage gets addressed as part of the follow-on engineering. So that's a motion by Commissioner Haas. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Blankenship. Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Dobmeyer,
Nay.
Vice Chair Blankenship,
Aye.
Chairman Haas,
Aye.
Commissioner Mauer,
Aye.
Commissioner Haveman,
Aye.
and Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
4 in favor, sorry, 5 in favor, 1 opposed, motion carries.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Item 8 on the agenda is a public hearing. This is to consider approval of Pecan Creek Shopping Center Lot 2A-R Block A replat. A replat to revise the current plat and associated easements and fire lane configuration on 2.5 acres of property located on the northeast corner of South Denton Tap Road and the Dart right-of-way at the request of Bellotti Investments, being represented by Costa Majigi of Majigi Group Engineering. We have a staff presentation by Ms. Mary Barone Boswell. Mary?
So Commissioner, essentially this is a plat, this plat request is a companion item to the PD that we just were listening to. The plat is extending the fire lane easement to accommodate the new construction and median opening, and staff is in support of the plat and recommends approval. So staff is recommending approval of the request subject to the following conditions: that there may be additional comments during detailed engineering review, and 2, that the plat must be filed required prior to permitting.
Thank you, Mary. Any questions of staff by the commission?
Yes, Mary. So just clarification on the mutual access, the reciprocal access, and the fire lane in the front. That's going to remain as a fire lane easement and reciprocal access.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions of staff? Okay. Is the applicant here to present the case?
Costa Mazigi Group Engineering, 11105 Fernald Avenue, Dallas, Texas 75218. Again,
You're in.
I second, what I mentioned in the initial talk,
In your agreement with the staff conditions as presented?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
Any
you.
questions of the applicant by the commission? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Is there anybody who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? Come forward. Yeah, we had you there, David. Mr. Flesher signed up there.
So to clarify, I'm not against this. Just the concerns I have are the easements and the drainage. I think we met with Mr. Hager and Mr. Boswell about a year ago, and we talked with our attorney there. We talked about these easements. She mentioned that we were trying to drag the process. He just wanted it in writing. Let's get this in writing, and he never got anything in writing. And we've got emails where just nothing ever happened, so we never intended to drag this out at all. My engineer has never seen this. My civil engineer has never seen this plan, so that letter he gave you, was from the previous drawing that we had from a month ago. And I've got the whole email, he said that he did like this better than the third one. So this is the third drawing that we've seen. He's never seen this. The driveway going into that east to west, I just found out today, it was supposed to be V-shaped, but he's going to have it declined into both properties. I just want someone to have a study, like you talked about, a drainage study, to make sure that we're not going to get flooded every time we get a rain, because it's bad. And my only concern is that, and I still would like to talk about this easement. Robert I'm a landscaper, he's the one that's the professional on this, that we just get everything in writing and we're agreed upon, because we agreed to share us to use that property going through like we have been for 17 years. And so those are my only concerns. I'm not against the project at all. I'm actually thrilled to have it going. Just the drainage and the easements are my only concern.
Okay, very good.
And for him to say that email he gave you, my engineer's never seen this plan.
Okay.
So.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? You're the applicant, so I presume you're speaking for it.
Costa Mazigi, 11105 Fernald Avenue, Dallas, Texas 75218, Mazigi Group Engineering. The drainage plan that you have has my seal on it. It's a professional engineer seal, and I stand behind the work that we do. I have a good reputation in the city of Dallas, as well as in Dallas Metroplex. You can ask about me. I have a good reputation, and that's my seal of approval. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who'd like to speak on the case? Standard protocol, name and address for the record, please.
Yes, sir. Maher Awad, 1129 Long Isles Lane in Louisville, Texas. Chair and members of the commission, thank you for having me here. I'm one of the property owners, and like Costa said, the drainage is actually going to be improving. It's going to be helping his situation of what it is now. So he's going to see a significant improvement. I'd like to speak a little bit about what Shema said earlier. We've been in the commercial industry, commercial real estate properties for over 25 years. We feel that definitely bringing this project to Coppell is going to bring value, jobs, tax dollars, and it's going to be a major improvement. We've been really excited about building, and I wish the gentleman that left was still here, because as a property owner involved in commercial real estate, I think is going to increase his property value, not decrease his property value. In addition, we own multiple large shopping centers with multiple national tenants, and again, we've never had issues with rats and infestations. We follow protocol. We're not only property owners, we're also a management company. So we, as owners, we take value in managing our own company with cleanliness, and also obviously follow protocol as much as possible. That's all I wanted to say. So if you guys have any questions for me, I'm available. If not, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Sue.
Would you be willing to provide a copy of that preliminary drainage study to your neighbor to the north?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak on the case? All right, with that, I'll close the public hearing. And thank you for that question there, Sue, but I'm thoroughly convinced as part of our development process that the drainage plans would be reviewed and to meet appropriate requirements. With regards to the plan being available, I mean, Mary, standard protocols for noticing and posting were made, so that's been made available 72 hours in advance? Okay. All right, any discussion by the commission, or is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'd move to approve the Pecan Creek Shopping Center Lot 2AR replat, subject to staff conditions.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Marr. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Blankenship. Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Donmeyer,
Nay.
Vice Chair Blankenship,
Aye.
Chairman Haas,
Aye.
Commissioner Maurer,
Aye.
Commissioner Haveman,
Aye.
and Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
5 in favor, 1 opposed, motion carries.
Thank you to everybody on this item there. Okay. Item 9 on the agenda is a public hearing to consider approval of PD-324-SF-7, Lakeside Elementary Expansion, Kimball Edition, Lot 1, Block A site plan. A site plan to build a 21,054 square foot one-story addition onto the existing elementary school on 10 acres of property located on the northeast corner of MacArthur Boulevard and Village Parkway at the request of Coppell ISD and being represented by Robert Howman of Glenn Engineering. The emphasis was on one story. The notice had as a two-story addition, but it is in fact one story per staff comment that we've received this afternoon. So Mary, with the staff presentation.
I guess it'd be better if I turn this on. Commissioners, Lakeside Elementary was constructed in the 1990s. It's for the most part a two-story building currently. This new detailed site plan adds a total of 21,000 square feet to the school, spread amongst 3 different areas. All 3 area additions will be one story, which is slightly different than what was in the original staff report, so I apologize for that and make that clarification. So 2 of the additions are at the rear of the building on either side of the existing structure. These will include new classrooms, a storm shelter wing with pre-K classrooms, and an art classroom. The 2 interior courtyard areas will serve as outdoor instructional areas that can be utilized as quasi-playgrounds. They'll have artificial turf and rubberized flooring. The addition near the front of the building will house administration, nurse, and counseling staff. So the screening between the school property and Oakwood Lane is currently a tubular steel fence with brick columns. There are 3 residential lots that directly abut the school property, which would require a solid masonry wall. The school is not planning on modifying the existing fence and is requesting to allow for an exception to this requirement. The school is proposing to add trees in these areas to act as additional screening. The school is adding landscaping throughout the property. They will be adding trees along the perimeter and enhancing the tree line adjacent to the 3 residences along Oakwood Lane. They will also be replacing landscaping that has died over the years. Over half the site is devoted to landscaping, and the proposal complies with the requirements of the landscape section of the zoning ordinance. In terms of the additions, the proposed addition has been designed to be integrated into the existing building design. The bricks to be used will match the existing brick on the building. 2 additions to the rear of the property, as mentioned, will be one story, and the 3rd addition at the front will also be one story. So these are just different renderings from north, south, east, and west. With this addition, they are also proposing to add a new monument sign with cast aluminum lettering along Village Parkway. Again, this is a zone change request. We did send out letters as required by state law within 200 feet, additional letters as courtesy within 800 feet, and we received 8 phone calls asking essentially what was happening with the property once the signs went up. So they were just curious as to what was going on. Basically explained that it was an addition to the school and when the meeting was. So staff is recommending approval of the request subject to the following conditions. 1, there may be additional comments during detailed engineering review. 2, a final plat will be required to show the fire lane. 3A, all signage shall comply with city regulations unless specifically requested. 3B, to allow the existing fencing to remain in lieu of a masonry wall along parts of Oakwood Lane where the school abuts residential property. 3C, to allow the existing head-to-head parking to remain as 9 by 18. That is the end of my presentation, and there is Mr. Howman and someone from the school district here as well to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Mary. I do have a follow-on question. Given the potential sensitivity of the additions onto the residential area, was there any outreach by, or that you're aware of by ISD to the neighborhood on the proposed expansion?
They're shaking their head no.
Okay. Well, I'll ask them when they come up. Okay. Any questions of staff by the commission? Okay. Mr. Howman.
Good evening, Robert Howman, Glen Engineering, 4500 Fuller Drive, Suite 220, Irving, Texas. Fortunate enough to be able to be the original designer of this school when we built it in 1990, and we're back a few years later now wanting to add some additions. This is not only additions to the elementary school, but this is a full renovation, so they'll also receive all of the classrooms, everything will be fully renovated. With that, we're very excited to be here, and I'll answer any questions you might have.
Okay. So question one, was there any engagement with the neighborhood regarding?
I don't believe we reached out to the neighborhood. I know there've been bond committee meetings and stuff with this internal, but I do not believe we've reached out to the community. And we have the interim superintendent, Mr. Williams, is here if we have any other further questions.
Have you received any feedback regarding
The area that we're working in is very excited about this. This is a project that it keeps the community together, and it's very exciting.
Okay. One of the particular concerns I have is with regards to queuing, traffic circulation on site.
Yes, sir.
So what is the capacity of the school, and what is the current average enrollment?
The current average enrollment is around 450. We're going to expand it to where it would be completely expandable to 680. I think the current design capacity is at 500. It's never reached the capacity because currently we have other facilities that are handling that, but as the district changes, we're able to move people around.
And has there been any analysis on
We've
traffic circulation?
We've looked at and talked to staff. They've managed this site quite well. It's basically been what we've had for the number of years. We've had very little complaints. I know staff has managed it, like I said, extremely well, and they plan on continuing it.
So we're increasing the activity by 27%. So there could be a commensurate increase in traffic activity. The only reason I'm asking these questions.
There could be a little bit, but if you remember, this is such an inward community. A lot of this is a lot of pedestrian traffic in this area too as well. We're excited because this is an internal neighborhood school and we're keeping the community together. So while there is a potential for that to increase a little bit, I think that the way staff handles it and the community, how they use this school, sees a lot of walkers, and I think that'll continue.
As a parent who picked up a child there, I remember operations there, and so that's why I'm asking.
Yes, sir.
Because I feel that there could be a detrimental effect to the neighborhood, and with an increase of 20-some-odd%, you know, the impacts of what could happen there at MacArthur, and those kinds of things. I know that there was pickup and drop off, and kid egress on Oakwood was frowned heavily because we got in trouble for that. So that's why I'm asking. And so I guess I'm kind of surprised that none of this analysis has been done.
Well, again, we are earlier in our process, and we'll provide a traffic management plan when we do our final engineering plans. We will provide a traffic plan for that.
Okay. Any questions of the applicant by the commission?
Yeah, I have a question. Along those same lines, so you're increasing the population by quite a bit. I'm going to assume that most of those increases are not going to be walkers. They're going to be kids from other schools that have probably been displaced, which means they're probably going to be bus traffic. I wouldn't think there's a large influx of population in the area.
Well, good evening. My name is Doug Williams. I am the interim superintendent. I reside at 356 Marble Creek Court in Sunnyvale, Texas, on the other side of Dallas County. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight. So in regard to your question, yes, some students that would be displaced, we will be undergoing a rezoning effort as well. And as a part of the rezoning effort, we will have students that will be in other locations in Coppell that will be coming to Lakeside under the plan, and so you would see an increase in bus traffic. Now, one of the things that they have done in recent years to expedite traffic is they actually use both of the loops. They'll take one of the loops will be designated for 3rd and 4th grade, and the other loop will be PK through 3. And so that really has expedited a lot of the traffic flow. Early on in the school year, with a 3:05 dismissal, we are seeing most of the traffic out of that area by 3:15 to 3:18, I think is what they're averaging right now. So,
But increased by 20-some odd %.
yeah, there is a chance that you will see additional traffic. I know one of the things that we will be looking at as we get deeper into the planning process is we'll have to look at traffic flow around that facility. Now, I will state that one of the things that we are looking at currently as a school district is the possible closure of one, maybe even 2 campuses. We have not ruled out Lakeside as one of those possibilities as of yet, but we're bringing this to you with the thought that should this be approved, it would go ahead and allow our architects to start the process of design. That decision should be made, we are anticipating in early October by the board as to specifically which campuses will be closed should we decide to close campuses. I started June the 2nd drinking from a fire hose a little bit, but learning as much as I can about the district, and we do have some key decisions to make, but one of them is if we do increase the capacity of this campus, it would allow us to have some flexibility with which campuses to close. So that's a part of the discussion we're having.
So in some of that same line of thinking, could that increase have been in one of the other campuses?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Could you have increased one of the other campuses?
So
what was the thought process of Lakeside?
So one of the thought processes of Lakeside itself is geographically it's very advantageous for the district to have a campus there. It's on the east side of the school district itself, easily accessible because of Sandy Lake and MacArthur. The combination of the two provides easy access for parents to be able to access the campus, and it is strategically important for us, Lakeside, to be considered just simply because of its location on the east side of the campus, and we do have some other options on the east side of the district as well to consider.
So with your experience in operations, particularly access, circulation, do you feel there'll be an impact with an increase?
There's going to be an impact, but I do think it's manageable. So the district that I was in, we actually had 4 campuses on 110 acres. And all 4 of those traffic, we did have to work coordination, and I think that will be the case with this. Example, we increased capacity at Denton Creek, and the first couple days there were issues, but we worked on some logistics, and I think Denton Creek is flowing well now. Denton Creek and North actually share a parking lot, and we have to work with. My goodness, Natchez, I believe, is the access road as we turn onto Denton Tap. So we worked through some logistics there, and seems like it has really improved over the last few days.
Okay. Follow-on questions of the applicant? Ed?
Yes. So first, that was a helpful context, because in pre-session, that was my question in terms of, in light of sort of the conversation around the school closures.
Absolutely.
How this is, so it sounds like this is really to educate what you can do and will play into sort of the decision.
Right, and so the plan would be that this project would take place during the 26-27 school year, and because of that, we need to go ahead and expedite the process with P&Z to be able to get everything flowing so that the architects can start their work. the thought would be at the end of this school year, then we'll start working on that. There's a chance, should we opt to close a campus, we may use that campus as home for Lakeside students at least for a year, so that we don't have to work around some logistics of occupying a building while construction is ongoing. And I know that's something that we have considered, not necessarily set in stone yet, but that's a part of the process that I'll be going through with our Chief Operations Officer, Sid Grant, and our board as we talk about some logistics.
And one additional question, in terms of the parking, so it meets parking code, but how the parking code is written is not specific to the number of teachers, administration, students, and so forth. So with the students potentially going to 680, I think the required was 90 and it was 124 was the provided. You know, if you do the math with the average sizes and the number of teachers and so forth, it eats up a lot of that. So from a parking standpoint, do you have an idea of what it's going to add in terms of you know, folks that would have to show up there every day and park from an administration standpoint, teachers, that kind of thing?
You know, I don't think parking would be that large of an increase from that standpoint. So currently, we were always told it was a capacity of 600 increased to 690. Now, never had that many students there, and I don't anticipate 690 students at Lakeside going forward. But you will see some additional traffic from, you know, not traffic, but cars with teachers, administrators, things of that nature. Most of the time, well, regular operation, it will be more than adequate. I think what you'll see is difficulty when you have parent nights and meet the teacher and things like that. That's inherent with any elementary campus.
Sure, but during regular operation,
I don't foresee an issue with just the additional cars that would be during regular operation.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments for the applicant by the commission? Questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, this is a public hearing. We do have Ryan Knight that has signed up to speak.
I'm Ryan Knight. I live at 1030 Forest Wood Lane in Coppell. I actually live a little bit less than a quarter mile away, so I was just off the map drawing there. Walk my daughter to school every day. It's fantastic, and I will say that let's not pretend that we're not going to close more campuses. We know that we're closing at least one, if not two. So hopefully this addition means that Lakeside stays, because I was a former Pinkerton parent and we just moved over. But the traffic's already insane. I mean, I live a block and a half down, and people are parking down on our street in the mornings, and I can't blame them because the lines are so long. It sounds like that hasn't been looked at and addressed. Would love to have the addition, renovations on the classrooms, and more staff and more kids there to protect Lakeside from closing down in the future. But my other concern is that if we're looking at doing this, 21,000 square feet, $12 to $15 million renovation, plus the additional renovating the existing building, so, a $20 million bond. We just spent $1.2 million putting a playground in a school that closed. That's not useful. So if we're going to look at this, is that going to protect the school long term? Just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the reason that people live in Coppell. We're here for the schools, we're here for the community and everything that's around it. And if we keep shutting down the good campuses, it's going to make it hard to not join the people that are now going to private school. And then, well, I'm not going to pay taxes in Coppell if I'm not going to the schools. So my biggest concerns are just the traffic. I do appreciate the landscaping. It looks fantastic. Although my daughters will miss the dandelion field in the summertime that is outside of the track, I can deal with that with all the nice trees and bushes that will get planted in there. We have a few friends that they couldn't make it tonight. They do live on Redwood and a few of the streets right there. They've been there for 8 to 10 years, and it's just kind of like one of those things they know, hey, there's going to be extra cars and traffic. And luckily, there's been an amazing staff at Lakeside and the crossing guard staff and the volunteers that are there to keep all the kids safe. I haven't heard of any incidents, so I do appreciate that. But the increased traffic is a big concern for me on Village and MacArthur. Just want to make sure that that's something that's looked at and considered when we do that. And hopefully, if would love to see it get approved so that Lakeside stays, so we're not switching schools again. But that was it. Thank you guys for the time.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
You mentioned that traffic is crazy. So is it just for a 15, 20-minute period, moves on? the rest of the day's
Morning
fine?
drop-offs seem pretty smooth. It's in the afternoon that I'll see it stack up, and we'll be there, talking to the teacher, friends for 30, 40 minutes, and you see the car that was halfway down Village is finally getting up to the front of the row. So they're probably queued up in line for 30, 35 minutes at least. So you add another 20%, and if you looked at the schools are closing, even if you only went to 500 and something students, you're going to have to add an additional 12 classrooms, so that's 12 more teachers, however many assistants based on grade levels, so let's say 15, 18. Well, now you've got, based off capacity, if I'm remembering correctly, you're going to have 15 to 20 parking spots available for parents coming in that get there early. It gets pretty tight without expanding that as well.
Yeah, that was my recollection. And even though there's activity going on, you mentioned that you were on your home fronts where a lot of student activity is. Any negative impacts?
No.
Yeah.
No. And, the kids are great, all the kids that walk and everything like that. And the Lakeside staff and the crossing guards do a great job of keeping everybody moving and everything. When we lived over on the other side of town, we'd get, ton of trash and stuff coming from walkers where you're just getting like soda cups and things like that, which was always random to me for elementary school age kids. But
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Hi, my name's Julie Waters. I live at 252 East Bethel Road in Coppell, Texas. And I, too, am a Lakeside parent. I was at Pinkerton, and then Pinkerton closed, and we have moved our kids to Lakeside. So I actually think this is great, but I just want to echo what Ryan said about traffic and what we've been seeing all these first 2 weeks. So I have friends at Wilson, I have friends at Denton Creek, and now I go to Lakeside. So it's been, Wilson has had a tough time. My friends have reported, they've been waiting for forever to pick up their kids. And so Wilson has, I think, close to 600 kids right now. And so that has been, that pickup has been difficult and continues to. They got the biggest problems worked out in the first couple of days, but just that wait time has been really long. Same with DCE, still just a very long wait time. Now, at Lakeside, right now, we have 350 students. So with this increase, it'll possibly go up to 680. So I would say that the traffic around that school would increase quite a bit. So just to keep in mind that if we do close 2 campuses, that's going to impact all of the schools across the district. And so a traffic study by the city really needs to be done. I know that parents asked for traffic studies when they were going to move Wilson to DCE. They requested that of the school district, and that was never done. And so now they're seeing the impact of that. So I would say that as we go through this transition of possibly closing 2 schools, the city and the school district needs to work together to really study the impact on every single school, because parents are saying, they're having a hard time picking up their kids, they're having to pick them up from Andy Brown or just different locations, and it just makes either working from home or picking up kids just very difficult. So I think just to alleviate kind of the stress around having to close 2 more schools after New Tech is being closed and moved to the high school, and Pinkerton closing. I think that would help our community a lot if we just kind of really focused on the traffic.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any discussion by the commission?
Mr. Chairman and staff, who's responsible for generating or either generating and/or requiring a traffic study?
So I believe when we were talking about it earlier, engineering was going to request a circulation plan for this. We hadn't requested it as of yet, but that is something that we're going to be requesting from them.
Would it be appropriate, Mary, to add that to as one of the conditions of approval?
Yeah, we could do that.
Thank you, Kent. I was going to follow on with that. It's really kind of at the city engineers on a case-by-case basis with regards to TIAs here or traffic management. Okay.
I also have a question for staff. Would it be normal in the event, in the unfortunate event that the district decides to approve this, would the approval of this commission could that be withdrawn at that time? Or how would that normally work? If we made an approval and then they came back 3 months and said, we're going to close this, how would that approval work? Would that be withdrawn automatically? Would it carry to subsequent property owners?
No, so zoning is permanent until you change it.
Any other questions of staff?
Yes, Mary, so in regards to 2 questions. First one on the monument sign. So I'm assuming that meets code as currently, or is it the placement of the monument sign as part of the site plan, or is the design and size of it already proposed?
I believe it all meets requirements.
Okay. And then the second question on the traffic study.
Mhm.
So in terms of the process, when is it typically required historically? And then 2, in this specific case, if we make it a condition as a traffic study, and the traffic study shows a outsized negative impact on circulation or traffic, is the requirement to do a traffic study or for it to show, for lack of better words, that it wouldn't have a negative impact on the surrounding traffic?
So I think this is a question for our engineering staff, because they're the ones who would actually request that type of information.
Yeah. To me, it would seem that you conduct the TIA, and if there's some mitigation requirements, that becomes a condition of approval, final approvals. I mean, if we make that as a condition now, then they'll do that analysis, and then my presumption is that would be considered as part of final approvals. Is that correct?
Yes.
Plus associated mitigation requirements?
Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions of staff or comments?
Mr. Chairman, I'm curious about the size of the acreage of the property relative to the ability to expand more parking or circulation or something of that nature. So I don't know if that's been looked at or considered by the school district or anyone on staff, but would there be possibility of mitigating the traffic situation with taking some of that land that they're using for, I guess, maybe for ball fields or something? I'm not sure what's out there and how much land is available, but has that been discussed or looked at?
It's not something that we've looked at or discussed. Essentially, they have 10 acres, and I believe, as Mr. Williams discussed, there are different ways to accommodate traffic circulation, like he was mentioning, using both loops, because typically they just use one loop to drop off kids or buses or what have you.
So I think there's different ways to mitigate concerns with picking up and dropping off.
So one of my concerns at the outset of this process was the traffic, but the impact to the neighborhood. And I think, you know, neighborhoods are one of our most valued assets in our community, and I think it's critically important that we don't negatively impact it, even if it is a school. I knew that there's been discussion of a potential school closure, but as I consider, wow, that would be even worse if an elementary school on the east side of Coppell were closed, you know, what that would mean. So it's a very compelling argument to say, well, golly, we probably want to keep the school over there. But I'm with you, Kent. It feels heavy. It feels dense, like there's just too much going on for a typical operation of an elementary school. But I heard 600, 650, somewhere in there. So we might be pushing the envelope a little bit. But I would, because I do feel that it's critically important we look at this traffic assessment, that we do a traffic impact and a management plan, and we provide the required mitigation as the results of that analysis. Okay, those are my comments. Are there any other comments by the commission?
I echo that. I think my only comment was in terms of the traffic study of when we would typically require it, to make sure that's consistent and if it's up to, it varies, and if it's up to staff, that's perfectly okay, but just ensuring that, you know, this is certainly getting the same requirements and treatment that, you know, any other development that would come in that would want to do, you know, something similar in terms of a renovation or addition, that would require it, that it would either be required or not be required, and then two, at the same timing. And so just ensure we're consistent.
So with that, I'll make a motion to approve the request as presented with the additional condition that a traffic impact assessment and management plan be developed for Lakeside, and that any defined required mitigation be implemented as part of the renovation of the school site. I do have every confidence that our ISD will do what's right. At the end of the day, they've got a harder decision to make regarding schools, et cetera. But I do firmly believe that they'll meet the requests that we have, so that there's no negative impact to our neighborhood. So with that, I'll make the motion with the amended condition as presented. So motion by Commissioner Haas. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second. Go ahead.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Marr. Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Dobmeyer.
Aye.
Vice Chair Blankenship.
Aye.
Chairman Haas.
Aye.
Commissioner Mauer.
Aye.
Commissioner Haveman.
Aye.
Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Best of luck. Item 10 this evening is a public hearing to consider approval of PD-301R7-HC, Victory Coppell Retail South, Lot 2, Block A, a new detailed plan development revising the current concept plan of Plan Development 301 Revision Number 5, Highway Commercial, to allow a 10,540 square foot building for retail and restaurant uses with a single drive-through lane on 1.7 acres of land located on the southeast quadrant of South Beltline Road and Dividend Drive, at the request of Victory Retail Coppell, and being represented by Kirkman Engineering. We have a staff presentation by Mary Perone Boswell. Mary?
All right, so item number 10, this is a concept plan for the overall site was approved in 2022 for a combination of retail, restaurant, offices, medical office, banquet center, and daycare on approximately 10 lots. In 2023, the concept plan was revised and made the retail restaurant bigger and eliminated the banquet use. Late 2024, the concept plan for the overall development of the site was revised to allow for a combination of retail, restaurant, with or without drive-throughs and a hotel on 11 lots. So at that time, Lot 2, Block A, which is what we're discussing this evening, was approved for a 9,095 square foot multi-tenant building on 1.7 acres. So again, previously this was approved for 9,095 square feet with 2 drive-through lanes. Essentially what has triggered this to come back is because they're proposing to enlarge the building to 10,540 square feet, eliminating 1 drive-through lane, adding parking at the rear, and the fire riser room being placed outside the building. So access to this lot is off of Beltline Road, as well as internal access easements running throughout the site. So modifications have been made to the previously approved landscape plan to adjust to the property line changes. Again, the landscape buffer along South Beltline Road will still range between 30 to 60 feet in depth. Overstory trees placed in this landscape buffer with a variety of plants, shrubs, ground cover. Additional overstory trees proposed along the remaining perimeter and parking area of each lot. This lot also includes a portion of the enhanced linear park on the east side that was approved with the overall concept plan for the entire property, which will include a 5-foot sidewalk, benches, arbors, grass, trees, and shrubs. Seasonal colors will line the path, and a sidewalk to the path is proposed from the approved hotels within this development as well. So the applicant is proposing to install this linear park with the first phase of construction. Again, the elevations haven't really changed in terms of design, they just got a little bit larger. As previously approved, the overall concept plan has a common design elements, colors, and materials. On this building, there are 2 different bricks. One is dark gray, while the other is a light beige. In addition to the brick, the facades will be a combination of stucco, nichiha, and architectural panels with metal coping, canopies, as well as glazing. So here's just the elevations for the west and north side, and then the east and south elevations. So again, this is a zone change request. We did send out letters within 200 feet, as well as courtesy letters within 800 feet, and we received no responses. So staff is recommending approval of the request, subject to the following conditions. There may be additional comments during detailed engineering review. 2, a replat is required prior to permitting. 3A, that all building signage shall comply with city regulations at time of permitting. 3B, that the plans for the linear park, if there's any changes, shall require staff approval. 4, that all PD conditions from the concept plan shall apply unless specifically amended within these plans. So that is the end of my presentation, and I believe the engineers are here as well, if you have any questions.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mary. Any questions of staff by the commission? Okay, is the applicant here to present the case? Okay, no applicant. This is a public hearing. Is there anybody who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any discussion by the commission? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve PD 301 R7-HC, Victory Coppell Retail, South Lot 2, Block A, a new detailed plan development revising the current concept plan of Plan Development 301 Revision 5 Highway Commercial to allow a 10,540 square foot building for retail and restaurant uses, subject to staff conditions.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Hafman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Bishop. Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Dobmeyer?
Aye.
Vice Chair Blankenship?
Aye.
Chairman Haas?
Aye.
Commissioner Mauer?
Aye.
Commissioner Haithman?
Aye.
And Commissioner Bishop?
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Very good. Okay, the time is 8:31. We've been going for a few minutes here. I'd like to take a 5-minute break. We'll reconvene here in about 8:40, 8:38, somewhere in there. Okay, the time is 8:35, and the Planning and Zoning Commission is convened back into general session. It's Matt's case. So with that, we'll move on to item 11 on the agenda. That's to consider approval of Gateway Business Park Number 2, Lot 2R, Block A, Fulgent Therapeutics. A site plan amendment to allow a two-story, 10,020 square foot expansion to an existing existing two-story, 101,770 square foot office building on 6.83 acres of land located at 1111 South Freeport Parkway at the request of Fulgent Therapeutics and being represented by Cam of Triangle Engineering. We have a staff presentation by Mr. Matt Steer. Matt?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good evening. This property has split zoning. It's light industrial and highway commercial. The existing building and the proposed addition all lie within the HC district, though. So it was formerly occupied by Avaya and is currently by Fulgent Therapeutics. The site is bounded by South Freeport Parkway to the east, LBJ to the west, Grapevine Creek to the north, and as you can see, a vacant property to the south. A one-story, 10,020 square foot warehouse is proposed to be added to the west of the existing 101,770 square foot two-story office building. This complies with a 20% maximum warehouse component for the office use as provided for in the HC district. The site will have 458 parking spaces, which exceeds the required 346 parking spaces. The space will be utilized for long-term storage of tissue blocks and slides, according to the email that was attached to your packet from Fulgent. The proposed building expansion to the west of the site is primarily impacting parking area, not a significant amount of landscape area. The proposed landscape plan still meets the landscape area and tree requirements of the landscape section of the zoning ordinance. The applicant's proposing to remove 15 trees and to add 16 4-caliper inch live oaks and 12 4-caliper inch bald cypress trees. The total tree mitigation is $20,700 to be paid at the time of tree removal permit. Elevations show an 18-foot, 3-inch high building expansion. It is a one-story, and it's proposed to be 83.5 feet long and 120 feet wide. Will be constructed of the same material and light color to match the existing building. Staff's recommending approval of this case, subject to, number one, there may be additional comments at the time of detailed engineering review and building permit. 2, a tree removal permit shall be required. And 3, the replat will need to be filed prior to a building permit being issued. That concludes my remarks, and I'd be happy to answer any questions the applicants in the audience as well.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Steer. Any questions of staff by the commission? Okay, seeing none, is the applicant here to present the case? We don't bite.
Good evening. My name is Q Cam, Triangle Engineering, 1782 West McDermott Drive, Allen, Texas. I'm the applicant representing the client, and I'm just here to answer any question in case you have any. And I have a client representative here as well in case you have any question about the operations of the business. So.
I don't have any questions. I'm just curious regarding the operation. I don't know if you're going to share anything about what you typically do. What's that?
Hello, Jason Bonaventura, 2792 Morning Song Drive, Little Elm, Texas. I'm currently an operations manager at Informed Diagnostics underneath the Fulgent Genetics umbrella. In our Coppell facility, we're an anatomic pathology lab, so we receive about 1,300 specimens, ultimately biopsies from across the country, and we're processing those for cancer detection. So we'll take the biopsies, process them through our laboratory. We have the tissues embedded in paraffin wax. We ultimately have to keep that for 20 years for our regulatory purposes. and the glass slides are what our doctors view the material under a microscope to ultimately make the diagnosis.
Wow.
And those are stored for 20 years as well. And so the facility will help us keep those costs down from using off-site storage.
Fantastic. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Just curious on the operation. Are you all in agreement with the conditions as presented by staff? Okay, seeing, yes, okay, very good. Thank you very much.
I have one.
Cindy, fire away.
It's more of a comment or question. Bald cypress, I have neighbors that have bald cypress, and that the roots get all knobby, they kind of spreads out with all the knobs. So are you sure you want bald cypress trees? They seem like a nuisance tree to me. So that's just a separate comment. Thank you.
Well, I'm not a landscape architect, but again, I think that trees is listed as one of the approved plants or trees by city of Coppell.
Yes,
So,
I know.
I guess, that's really the call.
Right,
I mean,
yeah, so they're on our plant ballot, and it looks like they are putting them adjacent, as far away from any pedestrian activity that would ever take place on that site, so.
Or mowers, right? Just-
Oh, true, yeah, yeah,
They're
even
just-
even
I'm
lawnmowers.
surprised that they're still on the city's
Yeah,
list.
and I would be receptive if you guys wanted to change them out to a more acceptable tree.
Or not, whatever you guys want. I just thought I'd throw in that comment.
I'll talk to the landscape architect and have him look into it, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for that, Cindy. The alternative was the old Bradford pear, but glad that's way off
I
the
know.
list. All right, thank you very much. Any discussion by the commission? Other than the trees? Thank you, Cindy. Is there a motion by the commission? Okay, with that, I'll make a motion to approve the Gateway Business Park Number 2, Lot 2R, Block A, Fulgent Therapeutics, with the conditions as presented. We have a motion by Commissioner Haas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Blankenship. Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Dobmeyer.
Aye.
Vice Chair Blankenship.
Aye.
Chairman Haas.
Aye.
Commissioner Mauer.
Aye.
Commissioner Haithman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Item 12 this evening is a public hearing to consider approval of the Gateway Business Park Number 2, Lot 2R, Block A replat, a replat to revise the current plat and associated easements and fire lane configuration on 6.83 acres of land located at 1111 South Freeport Parkway at the request of Fulgent Therapeutics and being represented by QCAM of Triangle Engineering. We have a staff presentation by Mr. Matthew Steer. Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This plat request is a companion item to the site plan. The plat's simply extending the fire lane easement to the west to accommodate the expansion, and staff is in support of the plat and recommends approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of staff by the commission?
Yes, Matt, is that an additional fire hydrant, or is that a relocation of the fire hydrant?
In terms of the plat,
Yes.
the fire lane easement's being extended.
Yes, and I know a question about the fire hydrant that's noted.
There's,
Okay.
okay, it's noted on the plat?
It's noted on the side.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything that the applicant would like to add to the application? Are you in agreement with the conditions as presented?
I'm good.
Hearing, nodding, yes. Okay. This is a public hearing. Is there anybody who'd like to speak for or against the proposed application? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any final discussion by the commission, or is there a motion? I'll make a motion to consider approval of Gateway Business Park Number 2, Lot 2R, Block A replat with the conditions as presented. So that's a motion by Commissioner Haas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Mauer, sorry. Cammie, would you call the roll, please?
Please respond by saying aye or nay as I call your name. Commissioner Dobmeyer.
Aye.
Vice Chair Blankenship.
Aye.
Chairman Haas.
Aye.
Commissioner Mauer.
Aye.
Commissioner Haithman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Bishop.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed, motion carries.
Okay, item 13 on the agenda is, thank you very much. Item 13 on the agenda is the update on council actions. Mary Perone Boswell provided an update during our work session on those cases moving forward. Prior to item 14 here, adjournment, we're sorry that we are losing Commissioner Guerra. He resigned today. He's moving away from Coppell, so we certainly wish you all the best there, Freddie. And then there are P&Z, the applications for 4 seats that are going to be coming available at the end of this session. So if you're reconsidering applying, please do so. And so with that, item 14 is adjournment. So unless there's any final comments, okay, I'll adjourn the meeting. The time is 8:46.